Hi everyone, welcome back to Simplicity TV. I am Jen Pike, your host, and I am joined on the couch today with Dr. Laura Anderson, who is our on-team naturopath and health coach within the Hormone Project. And Laura's been with us now for over a year. Yep, over a year. But we've never actually had the opportunity to formally introduce her together. You've been seeing her on our Instagram page and Facebook, and for those of you that are in our programs, you've gotten to develop quite a lovely relationship with Laura. But for those of you that aren't in the programs, thought it would be a great idea to actually have Laura come to the house today so we could do a little bit of recording. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's fun.
So for those who are watching who don't know about you, you have a virtual practice and an in-person practice. You're based out of Peterborough.
Yes.
So what's your area of specialty as an ND?
Yeah, so I definitely focus a lot with women's health and hormones, and specifically like adrenal and thyroid health. Mm-hmm. I just feel it was an area where a lot of women were kind of coming to me with, you know, they went to their medical doctor and everything was kind of fine, but they were still really feeling just exhausted and they weren't sleeping well. And some of the solutions that they were getting from their medical doctor and nurse practitioner weren't really fixing anything, and things weren't getting better. And so it's been really nice to be able to have them come into my practice, work with them one-on-one, and really get to hear their whole story, look at all of the symptoms, the more information, the better, and really kind of look at some of the main causes and start to just look at, the foundations and start to fix those and give them a plan moving forward.
And do you find in working with a lot of women, do you end up working with their children and their family as a whole?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a natural progression. They want to bring their kids in and then they're trying to get their spouses to come in too. So, yeah.
And it is so great because oftentimes, we work all with women in this program. They come in and there's the struggle of, my spouse lives life this way, or my kids do this, and then there's me over here trying to do this. So when you can bring everybody together and have, that same kind of voice of reason and the education, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and I feel too, it can be, children, depending on the ages they are, and spouses, they can kind of get really interested of these, you're sleeping better and you've been doing that, or, even just kind of changing up maybe the routine after dinner and they're going for a walk instead of, sitting in front of the TV. And it can just be such a good feed forward, positive cycle for everybody. Yeah. There can definitely be resistance to that as well, but it's just one of those things that you just have to try because you never really know how it's gonna turn out.
Yeah, and with kids, working with kids is the best because their little bodies respond so quickly. Yeah. And they're so smart. They have so much wisdom that we don't give them credit for. I always say to people, we call them they're just kids, and it's they're just tiny humans, right?
Absolutely.
They have a lot of wisdom, and I think they really know innately when something feels better and is working in their body.
Yes.
For that.
Absolutely.
So when you joined the team, I brought you on because I was overfull and overwhelmed with the amount of women coming into the Hormone Project and running that on my own. And so I just want to break it down for everybody what it means when they work with us as a team inside the Hormone Project. So when you come into the program, you get 3 consultations. So I do all of the onboarding consultations. We take 30 women each round. We have had it in the past where there's been a couple of extra women that we feel like are a great fit for the program. My plate is full, so Laura actually becomes their primary practitioner throughout that course. So she would do their onboarding. But typically I do the onboarding, and then you have 2 additional calls. So the one call you get with Laura, we kind of shape shift it to what you need it to be, right? You might be going through their blood results, their Dutch results. Oftentimes you're just that extra set of ears for them to be able to talk about where they're still struggling.
Yeah, and some questions come up too that they, may feel more comfortable talking one-on-one versus putting in a Facebook group, which is totally okay. Yeah. And then also for that accountability as well, that they know that they're going to be talking to me or you, so they kind of have to maybe get on board or kind of get things going too.
And it's a big part of the program is that, so many people, I know I've done it before, you join something and then you don't follow through. And so we're together for 10 weeks, having the 3 sessions in that time, but then also we have a really supportive Facebook community that Laura was mentioning, and Laura teaches a weekly masterclass inside the Facebook group. So say, for instance, like in our second week when we're learning about digestion and inflammation, the masterclass on that day is additional kind of add-ons, and it's an opportunity for women to show up and ask more questions.
Yeah, they can ask it live, and then even if they're not able to join live, then I'm still able to go in and answer the questions once they posted under the video. So it works really well.
Now, I think what's important for everybody to know is that Laura is a naturopathic doctor, but coming into the Hormone Project and having one of the consults with her doesn't make her your naturopathic doctor. There's a lot of strict guidelines. Every province is different. So again, if you're listening and you're in the United States or you're in a different country, naturopaths can actually only work with clients provincially in their same province that they live in. So we're Ontario, Canada. So as an ND, Laura can only work with clients in Ontario. Now, as a health coach, we can have her working with people all over the country, all over the world. We're in over 13 different countries right now with the Hormone Project, and have worked with women in lots of different areas. But for somebody who actually wants to come on as your naturopathic patient, what's that process?
Yeah, so it would be something that they would email me or, kind of messaging over Facebook or through, the team. And then it would be a separate appointment that you would be booking with me for the initial, which would be an hour. And then in that time, we're kind of doing a full health history. And I mean, depending on, where I've kind of met you at throughout the program, I will have the benefit of already kind of knowing a bit of your case, which means we can even do even more in the time that we have together. And then, another really great thing is being able to kind of fill the gaps with getting the blood work for some of the ladies that are not able to maybe get it fully, completely done through their MD or their nurse practitioner. So yes, for women in Ontario, I can definitely bridge those gaps.
And I'd say that is probably the biggest issue, is that when you come into the program, we give you a full request sheet, not a requisition. Important to understand the difference. We give you a full request sheet of all of the blood work that I really want to know working with you about your body, hormonally, your thyroid, antibodies, your glucose levels, B12, vitamin D, all of that. Like, we want to see a full panel, not just the basic hematology panel. And most doctors will say no. And you can offer to pay out of pocket, and they still will say no. And so for those that are in Ontario that are in the program, they will book an additional consultation with Laura to get that full requisition done. And what's nice about that is it doesn't just benefit us when you're in the program. Now we have benchmarks. We have full blood work and panels, and we know the chemistry of what's going on in your body. It's the same thing with doing the Dutch test. Now we put this into your client portal. We have it there forever. So now as you move forward and you book follow-ups with Laura, or you do continuing work with us in our Hormone Project alumni group, we now know as we test you moving over the next 6 months, 12 months, next 5 to 7 years, where things started at, and if what we're doing is starting to create the correct change, or if we need to get back to the drawing board and shift some things. So, the way you describe what's going on in your body, your symptom picture is critical, but the lab work really helps us to just stand back a little further away and see that full picture that Laura was talking about. So, and for those of you that are like, well, what if I don't live in Ontario? How do I work with an ND? I have a really big network of colleagues all around the world where we set you up with other practitioners to be able to make that happen for you. For that. So your role in the Hormone Project as a health coach, you are doing these consults with them. You spend a lot of time in the Facebook groups.
Yeah, answering questions, doing the weekly master classes.
Yeah.
And just kind of being someone that's kind of a cheerleader and just helping to support the overall group.
Yeah. Amazing. And then you can also find Laura on Fridays, I believe it is when you do our Instagram takeover and you give your tip of the week. And it's always really helpful and beneficial, not just for you as a woman, but also there's tips in there for your family, your children as well. So we're going to be doing a few more episodes here with Laura on the Simplicity Couch, talking about some of your biggest questions that you have been sending us in. So be sure to stay tuned for our upcoming emails. I want to say thank you for you coming out today. And have an awesome rest of your day, everyone.